Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you all. Happy day after Christmas. I hope you all had an amazing Christmas to you. It is a beautiful Friday. It is number 257 times we've been here this morning. And Jay and I were just we were going back and forth this morning on the promoting side of it. And I was like, it's the day after Christmas. It's hit or miss on who's going to be on, who's not going to be on. But I said we get next week off. We get next week off. So, good morning to you all. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for being on here on our last show. For those of you that end up watching the recording, good morning to you. For those of you on the Facebook world, good morning to you. Just say good morning in the chat. Put last one in the chat. Put last one in the chat for 2025 or put in 2025, whichever you like to put into it, because today's message, for those that are leaning in, for those that are taking notes, I'm going to share with you some insights on 2026. I'm going to talk a little bit about 2025. But first and foremost, before I can do anything at all, I first want to say thank you so much to my team who does this with me 257 times. Because without Jay, without Rika, without Grace, without Benny, and without Jarek, there's no way you can do 257 shows. And for those that are in the podcast world, for those of you who do a Facebook Live or do these things, to do it consecutively and consistently every single, to me, the showing up part's kind of easy because I just get to show up and do what I love to do. But behind the scenes of all the mass emails, the mass text messages, if you just wonder how many we send over the course of the year, we send out over 500,000 emails. We do close to 20,000 text messages a month. We have an orchestra of a team that has to do the Figure Out Friday guests, what they're going to send us, their bios, their information, setting it all up. Michelle knows because she's behind the scenes and seeing how we have to audit everything and how we have to create images to do this content. So, just if you can for me, put some hearts, put a love you, put a 5 in the chat to this amazing team and all the different things that they do. Grace comes out. I gotta make. I said Grace, right? I said Grace because Grace has now stepped in and she runs our show from the top 10, the 10 countdown, to our recordings, to putting it online, to getting it into YouTube, to getting the SEO stuff, to being able to give you our show notes. Like all these things cannot be done without my VA team. And I'm just so blessed and thankful for them. So I appreciate all the hearts and loves because guys, this show does not happen without them. What I want you to do, if you think about something that you want us to do in 2026, like we've talked about the recordings, we're actually getting ready to put this on Spotify and on iHeart, some of the podcasts on what we do. We do our show notes so that way those that are driving who want our notes, we get a lot of people that ask us like, "Hey, what was said? What took place?" Our recordings, all these different things to up the level we're looking to do. Our true goal, if you know somebody, is to get 100 people on here in the morning. That is our goal, is 100 people on here in the morning. We've topped off right around 58 for one morning. And so our goal is to consistently be over 50. And our first half goal is 75. And then our year goal is 100 people. So if you know somebody that you think could benefit from this, or a team or organization, please share this message, this link to them. Because put a 5 in the chat. How many of you like all our guests, our speakers? Chad, Rebecca, Justine, Cullen. We had Derek on here. We had Christian. Amazing group of people that we have on here. We've had Frank, we've had Michelle, all these just really, really great, amazing people who put their time in. Like none of us get paid to do this all. None of these speakers, Rosario, that come out here to do this, nobody gets paid. They do it because they generally love and are passionate about pouring into this community. And I'm just very thankful for all of them. So, with that, yeah, I know a lot of great, great love out there. So, with that, thank you everybody for being on here. Let's start our show here today, the last one that we have going into 2025. I was talking to John Hart, and he was telling me, he's like, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do at 7:15 because he's on Central Time. What I'm going to do next week. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you on that one. I can tell you what I know. I'm probably going to do is enjoy some breakfast because I normally don't get to have breakfast in the morning, or if I have breakfast, it's extremely fast. And so I am looking forward to I like to cook. So I'm looking forward to having a bagel maybe in the morning, just making some bacon without having to rush. So appreciating the little things over here, I'll be doing. So just spending time with my kiddos because I have them all the way till New Year's. So let us begin our show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to y'all. My name is Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. And I had a blessed and amazing Christmas between, it was nonstop from opening gifts with my kiddos at about 7 o'clock, 7:05 in the morning when Bryce was ready to rock and roll and wake up Rio. Then we went over to Wendy's and then we had a huge Christmas with all her family. From there, we went to her mom's. From there, we went to then my family, to my sister's side, and we came home and passed out at about 7 o'clock. And so we had a fun-filled, full of family and Christmas and joy, and just very blessed and thankful. And I hope you all did as well on this Thanksgiving, on this Christmas, whatever it might be that you celebrated, and hopefully you were able to enjoy the moment that you had. Today, we're going to dip into a little bit of gratitude of 2025, share with you a couple notes that I took about 2025. And I'm going to share with you some ingredients that I think are going to lead into success for 2026 on things that I've done and things that I encourage you to do. So without further ado, Lisa, we're going to bring Grace on here. Grace, I want everybody to unmute themselves, put on the affirmation as we say our final Friday affirmation that we all say together. So I'll give you a minute. No, I'm not going to give you a minute. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to find the unmute button. And on the count of 3, we're all going to say this together. 1, 2, and 3. Something
Something
good
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 is
is
going
going
to
to happen
happen
to
to
me.
you.
Something
Something
good
good
is
is
going to
going to
happen
happen
to
to
me.
me.
So let me ask you a question. How many of you, when you said that, reflected or just like, you know what, something good did happen to me yesterday or through me yesterday? Put a 7 in the chat if that was you. Put a 7 in the chat if that happened to you, something through you, you felt it, some capacity in some way. I had the cutest picture, Banks, Wendy's daughter's son, Banks. I got him a 6-pack of ramen noodles. He's 2 years old and he loves ramen noodles. That to me was just seeing his face of how excited he was to get ramen noodles was my joy that I had. So many cool things yesterday that hopefully you were able to transpire, give somebody that God was working through you in some capacity, in some way. So as I
We want to
get
know,
into
did
my
anybody
notes
ask
here,
who you were?
what's that?
Well, we want to know, did anybody ask who you were yesterday?
Did anybody no, I was with family, so nobody really had to ask me who I was yesterday. So I didn't have to be on stage or anything else like that. But I just, we had a moment. I will share this with you all. My parents are getting older and you know, I'm writing a book about decades, Rosario. And the book talks about what happens in each decade of your life. And I'm building a plan and a formula on how life really hits you and your income stream of what takes place each decade. And I want to thank Michelle because Michelle always nips in my ear, like, what book are you writing? What are you doing next? And I'm just like, I don't really know. And then like 2 books came to me recently, and this one I started about 3 weeks ago about talking about each decade. And the reason why I say that is because the first decade of your life, 0% of your time. Hold on one second. Love my little ones here. We have a sleepover last night, so Bryce got his friend over, so they're having a good old time. And so the first decade of your life is could somebody check? I think Rosario doesn't realize she's not on mute. So the first decade of your life, 0% is really earning money, and 100% is you just trying to learn life. And I'm going to fast forward everything, and I'm not going to go through each decade, but I'm going to get to the last season of your life. In the last season of your life, literally at that point, you've learned everything. You've experienced a lot, but you're enjoying pretty much 100% of your life. You're enjoying everything that you've worked for. You learn that if you were to ask somebody what is the meaning of life at that age, they can sum it up in probably one sentence. If you took that same exact question and asked somebody in their second decade of life, their teenagehoods, and even if you got into the 20s, they would create a story like no other, like, what is life? And we would come up with this huge thesis of what life is. We would explain so many different things. But yesterday I explained it that I feel that at that point of your life, at the end of the season of your life, it comes down to love. One word, love and happiness. And here's my little man right here. It comes down to love and happiness. And yesterday, when my parents we were doing Christmas, it's hard not to think if this could be their last Christmas with us. Because we're not guaranteed next Christmas, all no matter how old you are and how healthy you might be, we're not guaranteed. And so yesterday we were sharing with them on how we let them open gifts first. And how funny it comes when you go back to the first decade of your life. Who do you always usually let the gifts open first? Is the youngest one. And yesterday, as I was sitting there reflecting and looking back on how life comes full circle, that we said, why don't you guys open your gifts first? But that is earned. It's not given to you. They had five, they have 5 kids. I'm the oldest of 5. They have 13 grandkids. And it's a chaos all. It's a chaotic mess when you got that many people in a room. But you know what? I see my parents and they're like kind of like getting a little teary-eyed and emotional because that's what they created. So what are you going to create in 2026? What are you going to create? Because you have to work for it. My parents, they just didn't like, all right, I think today we're just going to have 5 kids and 13 grandkids. We're going to go to Amazon. You got to work through it. One of the questions John and I were talking about what he's looking to do, it's not going to happen overnight. Whatever it is that's in your business plan, when I talked about on Tuesday, your title will come into the room before you do. Your business plan will already come into 2026 before you get there because you've already written it down. That piece of paper is already established and forecasted for 2026. But now the question becomes, what are you going to do? Who do you want to become? As John asked me, so who are you? So who do you want to be in 2026? Sometimes your story is written for you by just waking up and taking the action steps. So I ask you in 2025 to write down today your 3 big wins that you had. I want you to write down your 3 big wins of 2025. And then I want you to write down 3 lessons you've learned. No, I didn't say three freaking things that went sideways. I didn't like, I wrote down lessons that you learned. I want you to write down some gratitude that you received in some capacity from your 2025. Understand where it came from. Look at it, dive into it, spend time with it, because you can't learn a lesson if you don't go through the brokenness of it. It's just part of the testimonial that comes into play on how it happens. So as I look at this week that we have next week, and when John says, well, what are, the 7:15 to 7:45, the 8:15 to 8:45, the 6:45, wherever you are in the country, whatever time zone, use that time to reflect on yourself. Use that time to understand where you want to grow and where you want to go into 2026. If you haven't already, fine tune your title, your plan of 2026. Look at it. Does it still make sense? So part of that, number one, that I have for 2026 is I want to challenge you. I want you to think bigger. Think bigger. I want you to tell somebody your vision. Like, guys, I keep talking about John Hart because like he shared with me like a vision that he has. And he's trying to figure out how to scale it, what it looks like. I was like, man, I love that. That sounds complicated. That sounds like a big vision. I love big visions. I love big goals. I want you to look at that and see that. I want you to go from looking at your standards, and I want you to ask yourself, do I need to raise them? Do I need to raise them? Or am I content at where I'm at? It was funny today, this morning, as I was reflecting, I was like, am I closer to any of my commitments? Am I closer to my 3:45 time? Am I closer to my January physically fitness challenge that I'm doing? Because you have to be fully committed into it before you can start to tinkle into it. You got to get all in. I want you to also think about this when you think bigger. I want you to write down what are your non-negotiables. Have 3 non-negotiables. So one of mine is to be on the show every single morning starting on January 5th. That's a non-negotiable. I will be back on January 5th. Last year, I wasn't too sure if I was going to be back. This year, I'm 100% committed to being back and improving the show even better than ever. We've talked about how we can create a show for our children, for your kids, and doing something maybe on a monthly basis. Then have your kids, your grandkids, whoever it might be, and we're going to do a special show for little kids for leadership. Brielle is so excited about going to New York. And I'm excited that she's excited that she gets to go and she gets to see certain things about what I do in my life and speaking and helping other people. It's a leadership opportunity. Number two, where's my boy Chad Free? I can say this to Chad Free. Number 2, massive action beats perfect planning. Massive action beats perfect planning. Some of us spend way too much time on trying to create the perfect plan. How many of you, put a 5 in the chat, how many of you have gone on vacation? Hold on before you put a 5. I will, Brock, of course. How many of you have gone on vacation? You know the destination. Your car is packed. Everything is completed. You got it. You got the gas in the car. You even have the address. And you put it into the GPS and it gives you a plan. But how many of you have heard this saying while you're driving? You have been rerouted. Put a 5 in the chat if you've heard those sayings in your GPS in some capacity, your Google Maps, your Waze. If you've been rerouted, and correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't say we changed your destination. We just rerouted the map, rerouted the plan. Even a GPS of the exact destination with your goals, there's everything that you have, the tools and the ingredients of everything that you have. Sometimes that perfect plan needs to be rerouted. But guess what? It still gets you there. Yes or yes. It just reroutes you, a detour. And throughout life, you are going to have those. It doesn't mean, I'm pretty sure nobody on here has said, like, all right, kids, honey, it looks like the GPS is telling us we have to be rerouted. What that also means is the vacation's canceled. So we're just going to turn back around and we're going to head home. Right? That's not going to take place. But we do that in our dreams and our goals because we feel like we don't have the perfect plan, or we let procrastination get in our way for completion. The worst enemy to completion is procrastination. So look at that. Number 3, your thoughts become your habits and your habits become your life. Your thoughts become your habits and your habits become your life. We were talking about the 50-year mortgage because a bunch of us are real estate agents in my family. And we were talking about the 50-year mortgage. And the consensus was the 50-year mortgage just adapts and accommodates people's spending and behavior habits. That's all the 50-year mortgage does is like, hey, we can't control affordability. We can't control people's credit cards. People are going to still spend money. They have no discipline over their finances. So the only way that we can actually get people to lower their monthly payments is we just extend the terms. I'm talking to somebody on somebody who they know who is like that. That's what happens with the 50-year. They just extend it. And what it does is really just removes ownership from full ownership of any human being or anybody in society because they'll never own outright. They'll always be paying somebody. Grant Cardone always says that we will become a society of leasing and renting. We will never own a house outright because the terms at some point could be even, I've even heard at some point we could see 100-year mortgage. It's the only way to get our monthly payments down. And now you would think we would take the difference and put it towards our debt, but we won't. We'll just increase more of our debt. Don't get me started, but it becomes our habits and our behaviors. Waking up early, I would really focus on that. 15 minutes in the morning could change you. It really could. Number 4, influence is built by serving people. Influence is built by serving people. So in 2026, who can you influence? Who can you help? Significant others, friends, churches, schools, your kids, this community, Facebook groups. Can you start your own Facebook group? Can you start something that you can help others, influence people? Do you have a charity that you can work on? What can you do to help other people? Where can you be an influence? We talked about it yesterday with John Maxwell. Significance. Where can you be significance? When you have significance, you become an influence. When you're successful, you're helping make an impact, but you want to be significant to help other people. Number 5. This is the hardest one. I've talked about Jackie on here. I'm going to lean into this one. So if you're really at the very end, if you're doing other things, I really want you to lean into this. I want you to understand this. Write this down. Stay resilient when things get hard. Stay resilient when things get hard. Number 4 was influence by serving other people. I see so many people when things don't go our way. When things get tough, we're tired, we have no money, our bank account sucks, somebody just died, we lost a loved one, anything and everything happens. I'm not saying don't slow down. I'm not saying don't pause. What I'm saying is don't stop. It is in those moments where you separate yourselves and you elevate yourselves. As simple as just me showing up. I am a natural human being. Do you honestly think I felt ready, giddy, blissful, and excited? I love you all, but do you think I felt that every single morning at 8:15 Eastern time to show up happy go lucky and pretend that I didn't have a shitstorm going on in my life? I didn't stop. I showed up. Some of you even noticed it in me. They're like, "Hey man, is everything okay? You didn't seem to have your normal self." Well, to be honest with you, I had a couple challenges. I'm dealing with this right now. But I was not going to show up. You might not get 120% of me every day, but you will get a percentage of me. And it's okay that it might not be where it needs to be every single day, but it's not okay not to give a percentage. Now, I also would say I'd write down Eric Thomas. We've talked about it before. You know, you want it as bad as you want to breathe. Go to YouTube and put that in there. If you want it as bad as you want to breathe, Eric Thomas. I listened to that several years ago and it did transform my life. And that's why when I go all in and I make a commitment, it kind of goes into that aspect of things of year 2026. Do you want to be all in? Do you want to be committed? Grace and Jay will make sure that we will put our show notes. We will put the recording in Facebook. The show notes will be in here with some of my other notes that I took. And we will put it on Facebook. We will put it on my YouTube channel. You can go to it. You can take a look at my links there for those that want to watch the recording, for those that want to join our private Facebook group each and every morning. For those of you who enjoyed all 257 episodes, I strongly encourage you to figure out a way to be here in Nashville in literally 2 weeks. If you can find a way to be here, let me know. I'll be willing to help you in any capacity, in any way. I'm excited about it, but this journey is going to be one that will really lean into you and help you grow your business in so many different ways. And then this is, yes, Dawn, everyone is invited Monday through Friday, 7:30. So there's the mindset show at 8:15 Eastern time. And then we also have a prayer at 7:30 Eastern time. We have a prayer call as well from 7:30 to Bryce. Luke, can you please calm down? Thank you. Thank you. Calming down. Guys, it is 8:45. Put a 5 in the chat if you got out of something today, but all of 2025. How many of you took one nugget out of the 257 episodes that we did that you were able to at least take one thing out of this entire year from this show in some capacity from our speakers? Guys, if we can help you in any way, whether it's the VA team that we have, you're looking to grow, you're looking to leverage, whether you feel that I could help you speak on your podcast, or there's a community, a church or a school or something that you would like me to speak at, I want you to reach out to me. If you think you know a guest for our Figure It Out Friday show in 2026, I want you to reach out to me. If you think of an author that you feel could be a really great person that we can add to our author's edition for our book, I want you to reach out to me or Michelle. Whatever it might be, I'm so very thankful for you all. I will miss you all next week. I really will, because I am very routine driven. And I'm just excited to be able to be back in 2026. I think 2026 is going to be amazing. Everything that I read in the forecast and the financial forecast control the narrative all, but it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be heavy in the buyer side. I think the rates are going to go down. So if you can control the listing market, you will have a lot of business. Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you all. For the
Brock,
last time, everybody come off of mute and say goodbye.
Brock,
Fred,
before I go, can you give me number 5 again, please?
number 5. I like that. We'll get maybe one of the things in New Year is we'll get a note taker to write the number 5 is stay resilient when it gets hard. Stay resilient when it gets hard. I actually have a saying when I get ready to start my day, even before the gym or anything, I always say, do your hard today, Brock. Do your hard today. That is my affirmation. I tell myself, just do your hard today. If you can do your hard, you'll be the easy won't be a problem.
Thank you.
You bet, buddy. You bet. So everybody come off of mute for the last time. Let's say all goodbye to each other on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye all. We'll see you guys
Goodbye.
later.
Take
Happy
care.
New Year.
Bless you. Happy New Year, everybody.
Everybody.
Love you, everybody.
See you next year.
Thanks,
Thank
bro.
you.